What if I told you that a year in a nursing home could cost more than your college education, and it's only getting worse? You need to hear this. In this video, I'm going to reveal the real cost of nursing home care today, the reasons behind the skyrocketing expenses, and most importantly, how you can prepare without going broke. At Barid, we've guided hundreds of families through the maze of long-term care planning, and many of them were shocked at just how unprepared they were. So let's make sure that you're not in that category. I'm estate planning attorney Mike Smith with Barid LLC, and I'm one half of the estate planning guys. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the true cost of nursing home care, but you'll know how to protect yourself or your loved ones before it's too late. So let's talk about what does a nursing home actually cost, and it's a lot. Nursing home care is jaw-dropping in terms of the expense. On average, a private room now costs over $9,000 a month. That's $108,000 a year, and it's continuing to climb. So let's break it down by region. In the Southeast, the area I live in, the cost is about $7,500 to $9,500 a month. It varies a bit by state. There's a great annual survey that's put out by Genworth that breaks it down, long-term care costs by type and by community. So I'd take a look at that if you want, more detailed, specific information for your community. In the Northeast, nursing home care is going to be in the $10,000 to $12,000 range per month, with some urban areas up to like $14,000 a month. So that's the East Coast. If you want more detail about other regions of the country, take a look at that Genworth annual report that gives you a breakdown by region, by community. It's very specific, and it breaks it down also by the type of care. Now, this next part you're going to want to listen to, because this doesn't just hit the wealthy, it hits everyone. So why is it so expensive? Well, there's several factors that are driving these costs. One of them is rising wages for labor. So the folks who work in the nursing home, wages keep going up. And so the labor has become a more expensive component for these facilities. The second thing is increased healthcare demand. We have more people in the 65 to 90 age range now than ever before, and that's going to continue to grow. So there's a lot of demand for these services. Therefore, they can charge more. It's also a highly regulated industry, so it's difficult from a regulatory standpoint to run a business like that. That also drives up costs. And a lot of nursing homes are older now, so there are infrastructure costs. There needs to update nursing home and other care facilities on a pretty much constant basis. So this is how I would like us to think about this. These aren't just temporary price hikes. This is the new normal, and the costs are going to continue to skyrocket going forward. One family we worked with, they didn't expect that their mom's care costs were going to be more than what their mortgage was, and it literally drained their retirement fund in under 3 years. So this is super important to pay attention to and make sure you get right. So let's talk about what happens if you're not prepared. If you don't plan ahead, then these costs can wipe out your savings, and they may force you or your loved ones to rely solely on Medicaid, which comes with really strict limitations. So in order to qualify for Medicaid, you can have no more than $2,000 in assets. So if you find yourself needing nursing home care, it costs $8,000 a month. That's $96,000 a year. And you've got, say you've got $100,000 saved up, and, maybe you own a house. In order to qualify for Medicaid, you're going to have to take that bank account down to $2,000. Now, your home is exempt, so that doesn't count. But if you are on Medicaid and then you die, the state will be able to come back and recover the costs of your care from your estate. So that means that the house most likely winds up going to pay for your costs as well. So think about that. You had $100,000 in savings. You got to spend that down until you have $2,000. So at a clip of $8,000 a month, $100,000, let's see, in 1 year, we're going to be down to $4,000. We don't even have enough to pay for the next month. So we'll pay part of that month. Then we're down to $2,000. We file the Medicaid application. At this point, you're completely destitute. You can qualify for Medicaid. It doesn't have to be like that. We can plan ahead. We can create trust that will protect those assets for you and your family and put you in a position to qualify for Medicaid. But you have to do it ahead of time. You can't wait until you need nursing home care, because Medicaid has a 5-year look back rule, which means that when you apply for Medicaid, they say, hey, have you transferred any assets in the last 5 years? And if the answer to that question is yes, then you're going to have to wait before you can get Medicaid. It's what they call a penalty period. And you have to wait through that time period before you're going to be able to qualify for Medicaid. So let's say that you've given your kids that $100,000 and they went out and spent it. They took a giant, vacation, around the world cruise, let's say. And now you need to go into the nursing home, say 12 months later. Well, you can't get that $100,000 back because your kids spent it on the cruise, and you're going to have to wait for Medicaid until your penalty period expires. So it's really important that you plan ahead of time if you want your kids to ultimately be able to benefit from that $100,000 that you want to leave them. So anyway, those are a made up example, but that gives you the basic idea. To qualify for Medicaid, remember this: you have to spend down until you have no more than $2,000 in assets. That means that everything that you've saved could be gone if you don't plan ahead. And we can plan ahead and we can prevent that from happening, but you have to plan ahead. There's some smart ways to plan ahead. There's some options out there, so let's talk about them. The first one that you need to think about is long-term care insurance. And there are different types of long-term care insurance. Traditional long-term care insurance is sort of like health insurance. You pay premiums, then when you need it, they step in and they cover your costs. The unfortunate part of that is if you never need to go into a nursing home, you never need any long-term care, then those premiums you paid are going to be gone. So there's another type of long-term care insurance. It's a life insurance policy with a long-term care benefit. That type of policy, you pay premiums in, you have a certain amount based on what you've paid into the policy or what the policy value is that you can use for long-term care. And if you don't use it, then your family has a death benefit on the life insurance policy. So it's an alternative to the old traditional long-term care insurance, and it doesn't have that use it or lose it feature that traditional long-term care insurance has. From a legal standpoint, we can create irrevocable trusts that you can gift your assets into. That moves them out of your name, and by being in that trust, they're protected from creditors. You can pass that $100,000 on to your kids. With proper timing, we can preserve assets, we can get you qualified for long-term care, and just make this not a problem for you. Chances are you probably haven't heard of some of these things I'm talking about, but these tools can shield your home, your savings, and your legacy from total loss. But planning ahead 5 years or more is crucial. That Medicaid look-back period will penalize a last-minute transfer. So you don't want to wait for there to be a crisis to do the planning. You got to do it ahead of time. Now, if you want a clear roadmap on how to prepare for nursing home costs, you can download our free long-term care planning checklist. It's in the description. There's a link to our resources page, and on that page, you'll find this long-term care planning checklist, and it's packed with actionable steps that you can take to prepare yourself for long-term care. Oh, and let me leave you with one last fact. 70% of us will need long-term care before we die. 70%. So that means the chances are, if you're listening to this video, the chances are very high that you're going to need long-term care and you need a plan in place. So let's recap real quick. Nursing homes can cost over $10,000 a year. The prices are rising significantly and will continue to do so. And if you're not financially prepared, you and your family could lose everything. But with the right tools, insurance, trust, smart timing, you can protect your family's future. If this was helpful to you, you'll definitely want to watch our next video on how to choose the best care planning for your parents. It's the perfect next step to getting all your ducks in a row. And by the way, if you find this helpful, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much. I'm Mike Smith with the Estate Planning Guys.